Alright, guys, we are back with episode 7 of Imperialism. And some teams are starting to really grow their land on this map. We have Oregon, we have Montana, Gonzaga in the northwest, New Mexico, still the biggest team on the map. San Diego State has a decent piece of land. Hawaii, Texas, Oklahoma, all getting big in the Midwest. Northwestern, Kansas State, South Alabama remains very large. Mercer and Campbell on the East Coast, and West Virginia has a big chunk of land, also Maine. But let's get right into episode 7 of NCAA Imperialism. UMass Lowell up on the wheel going first. They're going northeast against Maine, who we just mentioned, and they win. Maine does, taking over UMass Lowell to take more of the northeast. Kansas State now going southwest. They're going to be against New Mexico, biggest team on the map, and New Mexico actually wins. I did not expect this one, but New Mexico is going to take Kansas State and knock the Wildcats out, so the Lobos have even more land now than they did before, stretching almost to the northern border of the United States. And as you can see, they stretch from almost the west coast all the way into the Midwest now. Louisville now going south to take on South Alabama, one of the biggest, if not the biggest team in the East. And Louisville shockingly beats South Alabama, another shocking defeat. And that will do it for the Jaguars, who beat Alabama. Now Louisville with a very big piece of land, probably the biggest in the entire East. Fairleigh Dickinson up now. They've already beaten Seton Hall. Excuse me. They're playing Seton Hall, and they actually win. Fairleigh Dickinson continues the NCAA tournament magic, beating the Pirates 71-69. Evansville now going northeast to take on Indiana, and the Hoosiers win this one by 25, eliminating the Purple Aces from the map. So now Indiana borders Louisville. Lehigh going southwest against West Virginia, and West Virginia puts up 106 on Lehigh, a huge game for West Virginia, who just keeps on expanding. They have not lost yet. They've played almost 10 games, it feels like. It may actually be that. West Virginia now a humongous piece of land. Going back to the wheel, we have Hawaii, who took land in the last episode. They're going north, and that is barely going to take them against New Mexico State. And New Mexico State's going to get this win by 1 point, eliminating the Rainbow Warriors and taking some land in Texas and the entirety of the Hawaiian Islands. New Mexico State starting to expand now themselves. Again, going back to the wheel now. The next team we have is going to be Loyola Chicago, but they're not on the map. So it's going to be Grambling going northwest to take on Oklahoma. Oklahoma's taken land in the last episode, and Oklahoma wins by 20 points, eliminating Grambling. So now Oklahoma controls a very nice piece of land. Houston Christian going southwest. That'll be against Texas A&M Corpus Christi. And the Islanders are going to win this one by 17, eliminating the Huskies. So that'll be it for Houston Christian, formerly Houston Baptist. Texas A&M Corpus Christi takes some more land. Eastern Michigan's not on the map. So North Dakota will go against Montana, because that's the only team they can go against, to try to take all of this land, and they do succeed in doing that. 81-67. So now North Dakota controls the second most land on the map behind only New Mexico. Penn State now going south against who else but West Virginia, trying to finally take them down, and they do in overtime. 81-76 is the final. Penn State beats West Virginia to take all of that land, and that will do it finally for the Mountaineers. Penn State now has all of their land. Lafayette now going northwest against the newly expanded Nittany Lions, and Penn State easily handles the Leopards to win 86-68. That'll do it for Lafayette. Penn State stands some more. UConn now going north against Maine, who already took land in this episode, and they get the win, taking most of the far northeast of the United States and eliminating Maine. UC Santa Barbara now going southwest, but they can't really do that, so we're going to have to spin again. This time they're going east. They can do that. That'll be against San Diego State, and San Diego State wins the national runner-up. They will take the Gauchos out, climbing further up the western coast. And now San Diego State is starting to expand up that direction. Akron going west. That'll put them against Western Michigan And Akron wins 66-61. I'm sure Michigan fans will not be happy, or Michigan State fans. San Diego State now going north. That we just saw them play. That's going to barely put them against New Mexico. And San Diego State finally takes down New Mexico. The biggest piece of land in the United States now belongs to San Diego State. We're seeing some big changes here so far early in this episode, and San Diego State now controls a massive piece of land all the way into the Midwest. Now we have UTSA going west. They're going to go against Texas. Texas wins 89-70, though, eliminating UTSA. And so Texas will take another part of their home state. Pittsburgh going southeast against Penn State. Maybe they'll be the ones to knock them off, but no. Penn State thrashes Pittsburgh, and that will do it for them. Fresno State going south against San Diego State, and San Diego State holds off the Bulldogs to expand more. They have done massive expansion just within the past couple minutes of this video, and now they control, it's an unthinkable amount of land. Boston College does not have any land, unfortunately. Dayton is going southwest to take on Indiana. Indiana wins by 15, so that'll do it for the Flyers. Going back to the wheel, Duke now going northeast. They will take on, they can't really go northeast, so they're going to have to spin the wheel again. That's going to be southeast. Yep, they can do that. That'll be against NC State. The Wolfpack and Duke will get the victory by 19 points, and NC State is eliminated. Not much land, but it's something for the Blue Devils. Texas up next. They've taken a ton of land in the series. Going southeast, take on Texas A&M and Corpus Christi, and they win this by 24 pretty easily. Texas now controls almost all of their home state. Kansas going southeast to take on Missouri State, and they win this one by 6, eliminating the Bears. Kansas slowly but surely starting to expand on this map and gain more land. They are now into Missouri. Iowa State going northwest. That's going to be against San Diego State. Can they be the one to take down the huge team that has expanded in this episode? But no, they can't. San Diego State wins by 1, eliminating Iowa State, and now they're even into Iowa. So from California to Iowa, that's how much land San Diego State owns right now. UConn going northwest, that's going to put them against UMass, and UConn wins 72-64, further increasing their land in the northeast. Now Siena, in the very same direction, is going to take on UConn, and UConn wins again. And like I just said, they're further expanding into the northeast. They now control almost all of it. New Mexico State going east against Texas. Can they be the one to take down Texas? No, they cannot. Texas is now expanding into Arizona, and they are now bordering with Arizona. We might get that matchup at some point. That would be interesting. Texas gets a logo expansion because of that, and now they also control the Hawaiian Islands. Wake Forest going east, that'll put them up against Penn State. Who else? But Penn State wins again, taking even more land. They're becoming a force. Nevada going southeast, that'll be against San Diego State. They've gotten attacked so many times, but San Diego State keeps on winning, and both teams have won in the simulation 182 times. That's pretty neat. But that'll do it for the Wolfpack. 2 Wolfpack have gone out in this episode, NC State and Nevada. San Diego State just continues to increase, and they are becoming even bigger. Samford going north to take on Louisville has a ton of land, as Samford beats Louisville. Not unthinkable, but still, you wouldn't expect Samford to have this much land, but they do. Samford now with a huge piece of land. And now San Diego not on the map, but Cincinnati is. They're going northeast to take on Indiana, but Indiana's going to win 88-63, easily be defeating the Bearcats. Missouri going southwest against Kansas, and Missouri actually beats Kansas in a shocker. The Jayhawks are eliminated by Missouri, who now actually have a real chance to maybe win this thing. They're starting to expand more, but it's not a huge piece of land, so not too many teams can attack them. Louisiana going northwest to take on Oklahoma, it's going to look like. So Oklahoma, and the logo is actually wrong. That was, the simulator is a little bit messed up. And now Oklahoma's borders stretch all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. St. Francis Brooklyn does not have land on the map. Utah going Southwest to take on who else but San Diego State, and Utah. Of all teams, Utah is the one to eliminate the giant San Diego State, and they now control all of that land. UNC Greensboro not on the map. We're eliminating a lot of those teams. Indiana going southeast against the newly expanded Samford, and Indiana easily takes care of Samford. And now there's a whole lot of white in the east between Indiana and Penn State. Auburn going southeast. That'll take them up against Mercer. And Auburn wins 83-40 to expand their territory. That's their first expansion of the video, eliminating Mercer. Rutgers now going southeast. They're going, well, they can't really go that direction, so they're going to spin the direction wheel again, going northwest in the opposite direction. And they will take on, it's going to be, looks like Penn State. And Penn State is going to rout Rutgers. Very impressive run here by Penn State. And they stretch their land now to the eastern coast of the U.S. Now they have even more land. Rice is not on the map. Florida A&M, the worst team left in it. They can't go southwest. So they're going to choose a new direction, and it's going to be northwest to take on, it's going to be Penn State, I thought, but turns out there was actually a line. So I thought Florida Atlantic went out. This was actually Indiana's territory, but I figured this out pretty quickly, luckily, and went back. It is actually Indiana, and so I simulated it again, and Indiana still wins by 30. Oklahoma going north. Bedlam, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma State takes all of Oklahoma's land in a very impressive 18-point win. And how Oklahoma State, they just got a big expansion. Purdue going southwest against Missouri. Missouri's already taken down one giant. Can they do it again? Yes, they do it again. Somehow, Missouri knocks off Purdue and Kansas in the same episode. What an episode for Missouri. And now they have a big piece of land. For sure. Jacksonville going north against Auburn. Auburn takes another piece of land, eliminating the Dolphins. And Auburn's land now stretches into the Sunshine State, Florida. They're expanding up the East Coast as well. Bradley going east. They'll take on Northwestern, who has quite a bit of land. And Bradley's going to win 60-55. A nice win for Bradley. And now they control parts of Michigan and Wisconsin, as well as their home state. So this is the map at the end of episode 7. North Dakota getting very big. Gonzaga and Oregon stay the same. Utah takes a whole lot of land. Bradley just took a lot of land. Texas has a lot. Oklahoma State gained a lot. So did Indiana, as well as Penn State. Auburn did the same thing. UConn has a bunch of the Northeast. That is going to do it for episode 7 of Imperialism. Hope you subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching.